Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 44th episode of Kouryer Podcast. Today, I'm joined with Mr. Lozano, Sebastian Lozano. He's a concept artist from Bogota, Colombia. And before we begin, I would like to, just mention one quick thing is that, of course, as any of you are listening know already, or might not know, two days ago, March 14th was the anniversary of the creation of the podcast, and with that out of the way, I actually made a giveaway because of that Photoshop course giveaway, which is still active until March 21st. So if you haven't checked that out, you can check out the last post I put on Instagram page of the Career Podcast, and you can join from there and continue. And there's also all the details. The details are there. I'm not gonna ramble on too much because today we have a very special guest, and let's begin with first question. Give us a little introduction on how you got into visual arts and design.
I like drawing since I was a little kid. It's actually a fun story because when I was really small, my drawings were very bad. So much so that my mom got me into drawing classes, and since then I've been hooked to art. Then, uh, if you want to know the rest of the story, how I got to being a concept artist, I kept drawing through school. I really liked it. That was like my thing. Everyone was like, "Hey, that's the guy who draws." And but here in Colombia, where I'm from, there's really not much you can do when you draw, like in terms of industry and jobs. So I was very depressed about that, and I kind of quit art for a long time. Around ninth grade, we have till 11th grade here, and I didn't know what to do with my life after school, so
Hmm.
I did some I studied some semesters in philosophy. Yeah, but then I was feeling like this philosophy thing is not going anywhere, and I came back to the arts. The closest thing I could think of about drawing and painting was graphic design, because fine arts is probably weird. So I studied graphic design. I graduated, and by that time, I my idea was to be a book illustrator. But I don't know, it was kind of not my thing because I want to draw like cool characters and stuff, and book illustrators don't do that. And then I thought, hell, maybe I can be something else. So my my graduation project for graphic design was kind of lame, and I was also again very depressed with my project. And there was this Facebook group, Character Design Challenge. Sure if you know that. And through my career in college, I posted a couple times, got like 20 likes on each of my posts. And I thought, oh, that's not my thing. But then after the fiasco that was my graduation project, I said, I'm gonna try again just to see. And I was very thrilled because I got like 200 likes, and that for me was a lot. And the thing is a monthly competition, so you can enter a submission every month. So next month I posted again. I got like close to 1,000, and I was thrilled with it. I'm like, well, maybe I got something going on. Next month a bit more, next month a bit more, and around 5 months of doing that, I got like 3,000 likes. And I'm on to something. And as I said, well, this graphic design career taught me something, but I'm still lacking some fundamentals. So I decided to just study, and I like my social media life stopped there. I wanted to really get good because I thought I could do some I could do better. So I went for it. I tried to read books, get courses, do homeworks, and well, then I kind of started getting jobs. My work started getting noticed. I participated with some artists I really liked, and yeah, I'm trying to balance, studying with freelance work nowadays. That's about it.
All right, and actually, fun fact: you're not the first Colombian guest I had on this podcast, and the last one was Mr. Fidel, Camilo Fidel, and I don't quite remember like exactly which episode, but he's basically the art manager of Vertigo graffiti team in Colombia. Do you know them?
Camilo Fidel. No, I can Google it real quick. I'm curious. Vertigo.
Vertigo Graffiti.
Graffiti. Outdoor.
They even have an Instagram page and everything.
I can't find him. Oh no.
No, no problem. I'll just find it quickly for you. It's in the pod. I'm just opening up the podcast page quickly. Need to find it, and it should be right around. Oh, found it. Episode 32. I'm gonna send you the link on Zencaster.
Sure.
The guy.
Man. Let's see. Camilo Fidel.
Like he's not the artist himself, but he's the manager of a team of a graffiti team that they like. Basically have
Oh
their works
yeah.
all over the place.
No, there's some iconic things. I mean, on my work way to everywhere, you see those graffitis here in the
Mhm.
city. It's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, that was just an interesting fact that I thought, since you're the second Colombian on the show. And all right, next question. Were you originally studying art and design, or you were pursuing another career path? I mean, of course, you explained a bit about this, but if you could, more in depth explain what happened.
Well, I gave up on art. I threw my sketchbooks in high school, and I got into photography, but that's not working because however much I liked it, I wasn't doing terrible. But I was drawing in class instead of paying attention to what my teachers were saying. So I said, well, if I like this so much, and I was thinking all the time while I was in philosophy, man, I wish I had something that I like a vocation, like when you are I don't know, sportsman and you like playing with ball and you're a basketball fan. Like I wanted to have something I like, but what I discovered after thinking a lot about that is that I had it. I had drawing, but I was never brave enough to pursue it. So I said, well, I'm gonna give it a go. If this goes out, well, it's gonna be my call and not anyone else's. So I applied for a career change. There was like little tests you have to do in graphic design. You to see if you're not too bad, and I got through it. I was really disappointed because the career was not at all like what I expected. The teachers were like a million years old, and what they were teaching was kind of outdated. They were like, don't do this because editors are like this and like that, and I wasn't even thinking about editors. I was or printing because I was thinking of doing everything digital. Um, there was a couple of things that were useful, some illustration courses, some anatomy a bit too, but mostly what any skill I have or that I can use nowadays because I studied through internet. I mean, without it, I wouldn't have anything, any career at all. So yeah, that's how it went.
All
And
right.
if I can say a little thing is the thing that happened to me, I think is a common thing. It reminded me of one time I listened to something that Jim Carrey, not the most orthodox source of inspiration, but anyway. He said that he had a dad who was really good at comedy, but chose to be an accountant or something like that because chose the safe route. But then he said that one time the company just let his dad go, and he was jobless and without his passion, it was comedy. And he said, even if you choose the safe route, you can fail. So just do what you like.
Pretty interesting, actually. Yeah, that makes sense. And what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on? And tell us about your experience from the start of it until now.
The most experience I have right now is with visual development, which is like concept art for animation. That was my first formal job. I was super lucky that one DreamWorks art director was starting with a startup here in the country, and he contacted me. I started working for him, and I got into really cool projects. We've kept in contact after that because well, the startup closed, and well, I got to in that job to see where I was good at, see the things I was not great at, and and see that I really enjoyed this animation thing, but I also like stuff for video games, a little bit of movies, but most of those two, animation and video games.
All right, all right. And how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a project?
Good question. Well, it depends, I guess. I mean, if it's a character, it's different from an environment or a style frame or a color key. But mostly, I always try to start with reference. Reference is the most important thing for me. Um, that and if it is for me a solid idea, if it's for a client, well, the idea is theirs. So I try to be very, say, creative about getting reference. I am a Pinterest junkie. I know how to get a lots of weird images pretty quickly. I my boards in PureRef, which is a reference program, are ginormous. My friends go like, "Why do you need so much reference? It's not." But you know, it's just that real life gives you so much inspiration you wouldn't think about. And then after getting some reference, I try to say design a character. I try to take groups of ideas and
Mm-hmm.
iterate on them. Say I am designing now a Viking, and I try to say, well, what's the range of variation I can do? And I go, well, he's skinny and has light armor, or he's big and has a lot of armor, and or what is his personality? I also do you have when searching for reference or thinking about a character, for example, you have to think at least about three aspects of what he's about, or what the character is about. First would be his personality. The other one would be his, one, his personality and context. What is he? Where is he from? What are his goals? What does he want? How he goes about things. Then you have to think about function. Is this for a game? Does he have to look very big and menacing, or is he for an animation and it's more about his personality and not so much about mechanics? And then after deciding upon all those things, you can start to think about how he looks. Well, if the mechanics is important, you can say, well, I'm going to showcase his weapons more, or his I don't know, his abilities more. And well, for after that round of iterations, you show them, or you, if it is for you, you decide upon them. maybe do another pass at iterations, and then final. And you try to play around with leaving it super rendered if you are doing a game design, is better that way. Or for animation, just sketch with a bit of color works. Yeah, that's mostly how I go about it. Try to get as much feedback as you can. I mean, if it's NDA, well, it's harder, but whenever you can, I used to post in a lot of feedback groups in Discord, Facebook, I don't know, because you, I like to assume I am really bad at this and I need a lot of help. And yeah, I think that's the process I go about.
All right, and the next question is who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Well, right now is a hard question, but I like people who can do everything, and they're really good. Someone like Kouryer, he's from Disney. The guy can design everything. I mean, he designed the characters from Zootopia, but I heard he also was like studying naval design, something like that. So he can design ships, all the ships from Frozen. He designed. He can design cities. He can design landscapes. I mean, yeah, he paints like a god. So I like to be able to be good at everything. Someone who is also very prolific and diverse is Alberto Mielgo. I don't know if you know him. He did like the art direction from Spider Verse, and the guy just a machine, dude. He can. He did character designs for that. He did style frames. He did storyboards. He even some animatics. He a monster really, and everything is so high quality. I People like that really inspire me. Of course, I'm leaving a million people behind. Someone I really like that some that just does graphic character design is what's his name? Torsten Schrank, I think is his name. He did designs for Claus, the movie about the origin story about Santa Claus, and his designs are so pushed. I really love them. And but lately I think I've been getting too into my niche that I've been forgetting to look at other artist stuff. Like from my country, for example, I really like painter, who's like a fine art painter, who's Nicolas Uribe. If you want to check him out, he's really good. Um, yeah, I think I could go on. You just have to stop me.
Yeah, it's fine if you want to mention as much as you can. It is fine.
Really,
Yeah,
I can't go on. I can do a whole podcast
if
about
you
this.
if you want to, I'm sure I have no problem. If you want to, sure.
I mean, I'm gonna mention a couple more.
All right.
Who else classical? I from someone who's also a fine artist. I like a guy who's Joaquin Sorolla. He's a Spanish painter, and his brushstrokes are so great. I read a story about one of his students was weeping when he saw him painting, and I don't know. I like. I have a huge Pinterest like boards about them because my memory is not that great. So when I need inspiration, I just go about it, and I have to separate it again for by I don't know environments, keyframes, more 3D stuff. So if I went there, I could I could spend days just talking about everyone.
All right, and all right. Next question: what is the main subject of your artworks, and what made them interesting to you?
See, I don't think I have like a subject. I kind of go about what. however I feel at the time, or what briefing I have going on. But what I really like doing is showcasing personality. I think that's kind of complicated and bad at it, but it's what I really like. It's weird because most of my jobs are not about that because my strength seems to be painting, but I really, really want to portray personality and characters with a very clear uh, set of wants and needs. Uh, I like to portray that first, and then the other things, shapes, and all the details and whatnots, I leave for later. Yeah, I like to have like cool ideas that are funny. I think funny is the thing that I like doing. Maybe somber things is not my kind of thing. Yeah, like what's the word for that? Heartwarming, I think. It's been my niche lately.
All right. And what technologies and softwares do you mostly use for your works?
Um, I mostly use Photoshop, or used to use Photoshop, for perspective. I'm really, really bad at perspective. I need to get some help from 3D packages, mostly Blender. I really like Blender. It's so intuitive, and also it's free, and they're updating it every time. So that thing I recommend to everyone, Blender. I've been meaning to get a VR glass thing, but I don't know if I can use it to its full potential because it's not like within the. I mean, I'm not sure you can do a lot of it of character design with that, but I am hyped about that. And lately, my biggest discovery is being Procreate. It's so cool to draw in Procreate. I mean, it feels like when I was back in school drawing a little piece of paper and my sketchbook. It feels the same, just with steroids. Like I can paint there, I can draw there. If I had a little bit of RAM, I'd do everything there. Yeah, Procreate is great.
All right, awesome. And any advice and tips for a good portfolio and resume for artists?
For a good portfolio, I think the one that I've been getting a lot is try to have a goal. For example, if your goal is to have a job, be very specific about it. I don't do that, so don't follow my portfolio. But if you want to be hired or hireable, you need to be specific about it. Be very niche about your stuff. Like if you want to be an environment designer, just do environment design. You can do a bit of everything else too, but mostly that. Be good at that. Like rely on your strengths. If you see that painting is your thing, just go for it, man. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be easier for you. It's gonna be safer for companies. For example, if you like how Blizzard does characters and you want to work in Blizzard, just try to study closely their style, and not just their style, because Blizzard has like a lot of styles. You say if you want, oh, if you like Overwatch stuff, just be very um, careful about the decisions they make, how they make them, and try to see if your stuff meets the quality that they are doing. And and a tip that I've heard a lot for social media is to be consistent. Also, something that I don't do. I don't know why you listen to me, but being consistent grants you first some sort of recognition, like, oh, this is the guy that does Blizzardy stuff, and also gets you likes. Because if you post constantly, well, you get more views on your stuff. And for resume, I think that's, how to say, a tricky one. I guess try to read carefully if you want, if you need are interested in a job and you don't have the skills already, try to read carefully what they're looking for. Some say like strong perspective and have thorough understanding of color and stuff. So work on that, and hopefully you'll get jobs that are in line with what you want. Maybe not the job, but you can build it and have a resume that helps you when you really want to apply to your dream job.
All right, that fair enough. And what are you working on right now that you can tell us about? What kind of project is it? I mean, of course, if it's something that there's an NDA involved, we can skip the question right now. But if that's not the case, tell us what you're doing.
Well, I think I can tell a bit about it. It's a Vikings game we're doing with a friend, and it's very fun because I'm not sure if I can tell a lot about it, but it's something he started doing and asked for my help, and it's about like undead Vikings that have very silly deaths, and you can and their goal is to, I can't say the goal, but it's been so much fun drawing these funny dead guys. Yeah, that's mostly what I'm doing. What
All
I can
right.
tell about that.
All right. Undead Vikings, got it. And and what area beside the area you're working on right now would you be interested to explore and learn if, in the future if you had free time?
What was that? I missed the first part. Sorry.
What area beside the area you're working on right now, which is art and design and all that, are you interested to explore and learn in the future?
I think writing. I really would like to be able to write good stories and maybe merge both things together. Maybe like do comics or stuff like that. Because well, when one of my goals when I was a school was to be a writer, like write novels. But now that I draw, I think well I could tell stories the same with visuals and story and um, scripts. So yeah, I think that it's a bit late to do that, but who knows? I mean, writing
No,
is
it's not late. It's definitely not late. I mean, the only thing that you could say, or oh, it's late for that, is if you wanted to become a professional athlete in, I don't know, soccer or anything, and you're 30 and you just want to start. Of course, that's late. But I mean, with creative things, I mean, come on, it's never late. It's never late.
I
Never late.
I'd like to believe that surely, but I mean, when there's some when I've seen some of the stories of people that are very good with their craft, say creatively, most of them started really young, and I think it's not just that they had more time, but that starting young gives you some
Yeah, of
intuitions, I
course.
guess.
Of course, yes.
I
You're
mean,
right.
of course, what I'm trying to say is that you can, of course, start late, but the likelihood of you having success starts to decrease with time, I guess. But it's
Yeah,
possible,
I
of
mean,
course.
technically speaking, of course, I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, it's just, technicality. I mean, practically, I mean, dude, I don't think you're over your 30s, right? Or
No,
I'm mistaken. You're in
20s.
your 20s, right?
Yes.
Awesome. You have a lot of time, dude. Like, don't
Well,
even
we'll
think about
see.
this stuff. I exactly know what you mean, but and I'm not trying to give you like useless motivation tips, but yeah, what I'm saying is pretty practical. I mean, it's not late at all. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
listen. If you love something, just do it for yourself. Then over
yeah,
time, you're gonna get good at it.
yeah, that's absolutely right. Yes, and I've seen some writers that, just with life experience, got really good. Like people that come from being soldiers. I think Kurt Vonnegut did that,
Mhm.
stuff like that. So yeah, it's surely possible.
Yeah, yeah, dude, go for it.
Yeah, thanks.
And All right, with everything that's been said and done to conclude all we discussed, give us a roadmap for someone who is zero in visual arts and design and wants to get to the place you are in when it comes to skill set. Like for someone who is zero and wants to get to the place you are in terms of skill set when it comes to concept art. So give us a roadmap step by step.
Well, I don't think I'm super far. I mean, I think my journey is starting. I There's a lot of place to improve, I think. But if I had to give advice to someone who's starting out, I say I have I, I have a friend who went to the same college that I did, but many time a lot of time after me. So he's younger than me, and he he decided to quit the career program because he saw, as I saw but didn't act upon, that he was not getting as much as he could from the career as he could from internet, say. So he quit it and started doing his own thing, and he's really good now, and he's super young. And something that I would advise you is just be always um, conscious about where your life is getting you. Is this the place you want to be? Is this the route you want to be pursuing? And act upon that. If you want to be a character designer or a concept designer, mostly, that's what I am. I'd say um, take a great advantage of the internet resources because with that, just that you can build a career easily and almost free. Some of the resources I like, for example, are Schoolism. It's great. It has a lot of levels of skill sets that can help you. You're an absolute beginner, you can start there. There are great YouTube channels, for example, that can help you out. Like say Broco, Modern Day James, I think is one. You get Yeah, there's a lot of great content, but I think a huge, definite skill set to have is be able to filter what is good from what is not that helpful. Because for every one good channel or school there's like 100 that are not that helpful. Say once I got into starting out, I got into an online school that was not that expensive, not that known, and midway through it, I saw, man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I prefer not to say which one it was. I think it doesn't exist anymore. And I panicked and quit. but and I've seen a lot of YouTube channels that are kind of like that, that seem to have good content, but is you could get better somewhere else. Also, I would recommend to go to the source if that makes sense, because and that is mostly books. Although I've seen people that don't read books and do all right. For example, people that learn anatomy just with Proco, for example. But reading some Loomis, I think, for to say one thing. I mean, I think if you guys know Evan Amundsen, I think I'm saying his name super bad. I can share the link. He recommended me super thoroughly the book Fun with a Pencil by Loomis. And when I looked at it, it seemed like something for kids. But if you really pay attention to it, it's very helpful to get your fundamentals down, to think in 3D. And that's about, resources. Be eager about that. Try to find all the information, look everywhere. Listen to podcasts is great, for example. Not mine because I think I will confuse you. But yeah, being eager is a big part of it. Another thing that well, the most important thing that you have to do, aside from being eager, is practice. I know everyone will say to schedule the time, blah blah blah, but it's what it is. I have a brother who is a computer scientist, and he talks about artificial intelligence all the time, and I think we're really similar the way we learn to the artificial intelligence. And mostly what artificial intelligence does is it tries something. I'm super simplifying this, butchering it. But what you said, what that thing, the algorithm does is it tries a solution for a problem. And if it doesn't work, it tries another thing, and another thing, and another thing. If one solution works, it tries that again and improves upon it. But it takes a lot of tries, or when it's trying to learn, it takes vast amount of data. Like I compare that to when you look at a lot of art you like, you have to look at lots of art. You gotta fail a lot to get to good place, and that's similar to what artificial intelligence does. So that's a huge part of it, getting practice down. But practicing just out of practice is not that useful. I've seen you have to practice with a goal. Like, I want this drawing to be as good as Cory loved this. How do I do that? And you do it, and of course you're beginning. You don't know if this is super good, super bad, so you have to get feedback. Feedback is super important with internet. If you are anywhere in the world, it's easy, but you have to be again careful of what feedback is good, what feedback is hurting you. For example, I'd like posting in a group that's called what was it? Level Up in Facebook. It was helpful for me, but but nowadays it's not that great. One thing you can do, and I've seen a lot of people doing, is contact people that are not super famous and ask them for feedback, and contact lots, because 1 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 100 will answer you back. But getting a mentor is super useful too. I was lucky enough to get a mentor in one of my jobs, and we've been in contact ever since, and I've improved hopefully a lot because of that relationship. So treasure your mentors. Um, Something that is also good is to post constantly. That's where you see you're improving. You know, Lois says that what people like out of a social media account is to see the growth, like to relate to a person. So don't be afraid to post things that are not you don't feel super strongly about. Of course, if you don't want to post it, that's great. Nothing bad with it. But the engagement with the community starts with your growth. You showing them that you are interested in it and that you're getting better. So yeah, what else? I can't think of anything else. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it sure does. And where can people contact you if they had a question?
Sure, of course. I'd be more than happy to help.
No, where
Just
can is Instagram good?
Instagram is fine. I think yeah, Instagram, and we can chat through Discord later. I don't know.
All right, cool. Well, that's about it. Thanks for everyone who tuned in and listened to this episode, and thanks to you, or yes, which I totally didn't forget your last name. Sorry. Oh, Mr. Lozano.
My name is Peter Mouthful. Don't worry.
Yeah, and yeah, that's for this episode. And see you guys, everyone, in the next episode. Take care. Bye.
Hey, thanks for having me. Goodbye.